There he is. Look at this guy. Got the Jordans on. Me too.
What's going on, man?
How are you?
Good, man. What's going on?
Good, good. Do I keep these on? I don't remember. He's mic'd up here. You good? You don't have to sit right next to me. You can sit over there.
Yeah.
You can slide around if you don't want.
You know what's a big disappointment? Snapple started coming with these plastic bottles.
Let me see.
The most disappointing thing ever. The glass keeps everything so much fresher.
You know why they did that? I noticed that when they did
I know, for the environment.
No.
That crap.
They did it to 40 ounces too.
Yeah, well, they ruin the drink because the glass when it's cold, the glass tastes so much better. I know.
You know what? New Yorkers are bitter about Snapple doing that. You're like the
I'm
third.
still bitter about Gatorade doing that 20 years ago. You remember when Gatorade was 16-ounce glass bottles?
That's an old school pull right there.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm old enough to remember that. But at least when Gatorade went plastic, they gave us 4 extra ounces. Because you remember the Gatorade bottle with 16s like this.
Yeah.
And they was glass, it tasted good. But at least they weren't plastic. I said, all right, you know what? We're going to ruin the taste for you. So we're going to give you 4 extra ounces. Snapple just stayed with the same thing, plastic.
Bro.
Ruined the game for me.
It's a look at the iced out.
Yeah.
How you doing, Paulie? Feeling good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Now you live over in Jersey, right?
Brooklyn and Long Island.
Brooklyn and Long Island?
Yeah.
You got a couple places?
Well, I'm actually in Florida too, but I only go in the winters, and now it's time to come back up to New York. But that's like my trifecta. Honestly, I prefer Sicily as well, but it's kind of out of the way for me right now.
I can see that, yeah.
Last year though, in 2018, it was my first full year without fighting, and I was able to spend a lot of time in Sicily too. So
how is Sicily? What's it like?
I love it, man. It's
you get fat over in Sicily though.
You do though, yeah. You do kind of gain weight, but it's like beach weather 6 months a year. You have it's an island, so you kind of get that island mentality where you get a little bit lazy and you kind of just chill out, and there's a lot of stuff to do as long as it's beach oriented. Like there's clubs on the beach, there's restaurants on the beach, there's beaches on the beach, obviously, and whatnot. So you're basically oriented towards that island, geared towards that island life. But it's chill. It's really chill. Now, plus, I like Italian culture, espressos and chilling in cafes.
Who doesn't? Now, you're obviously Malignaggi is an Italian name. Yeah. Is your lineage from Sicily?
Yeah. I'm actually part of my childhood was raised in Sicily. I lived in Sicily for 6 years.
Wow.
My father still lives there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So your dad has the accent in the whole bit?
My dad speaks no English.
Is that right?
Forget about the accent.
Do you speak Italian?
Yes, I do.
Do you really?
Yeah, I speak Italian and I speak Sicilian. Yeah.
What's the difference between them?
The Sicilian is a dialect. It's not a written language. Every region in Italy has their dialect where they speak it at home, they speak with their friends. But the proper language in Italy is Italian. Like if you go to a job interview in Italy or you go to school in Italy, for example, you're going to speak proper Italian. That's what they're going to teach you. They're going to teach you to write Italian. You're going to speak in proper Italian. That's more the formal way of speaking, But even in a job interview, say you're in Sicily where everybody speaks Sicilian, if you go to a job interview, it will still be handled in Italian, because it's a professional setting. But of course, Sicilian and all other dialects, they kind of roll off your tongue fast. Everything's shortened. They're kind of this. It's a lot quicker and easier to use, But it's not a written language, so you're not really going to learn it writing it. You're going to learn it because it's used in the house.
So if your pops is still in Sicily, how'd you end up in Brooklyn?
My parents divorced when I was a kid. My mom's parents moved to the U.S. A couple years before I was born.
And she's
Italian as well. Okay. She was 18 when she moved to the U.S., but she was still dating my father. So she went back to date my father and get married to my father. And then my father played pro soccer, or football as they call it in Europe, in England. And he played in the 3rd division in Italy, Serie C. And so he was going to keep playing over there, but the U.S. had the NASL at the time, North American Soccer.
Yeah, of course.
He was going to try to get a job here. Instead, he wound up getting picked up by a team in Mexico. And so in the summer of '80, they moved to the U.S. where my mom's parents were, and my father went to Mexico to play for that season. And I was born in November. My mom was pregnant, so I was born in November. At the end of the season in June, because everybody knows soccer season goes from September to June, except in the U.S. where they just change everything.
Bro, don't get me started.
But so in June, my father's season ended. We moved back to Italy. He went back to Italy. So we stayed there until my father was almost retired, 86, and my parents got divorced. Because my parents got divorced and separated, my mom's parents were still in the U.S., so we wound up back in the U.S. My father's in Italy.
Now, what neighborhood did you grow up in Brooklyn?
Bensonhurst.
Oh, of course you did. Of course. Why did I even ask that? Of course you did.
Where else would it be?
I don't know. I mean,
if it was the 60s and 70s, we had other neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I mean, the 80s and 90s, it was Bensonhurst for the Italians.
Bro, you've been in a million Spike Lee movies by accident. Look at you. That is so funny.
Man, I'm telling you, if they made movies like that now, I would be the actor. You know what I'm saying? Like all those. Nobody has my accent. Nobody talks like me anymore.
No, they really don't.
It's a shame. It's kind of sad. You're gonna get me started on all that nostalgia. It's sad because first of all, my whole neighborhood moved to Staten Island. For my entire neighborhood.
Move there, didn't
my
they?
entire neighborhood, but Staten Island's not really a neighborhood because you can't walk anywhere in Staten Island. You got to drive. So it doesn't have a neighborhood feel. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on Staten Island.
I am shitting on Staten Island. Just so
listen, it's coming up. It's nice, but I'll tell you what. You need a car in Staten Island. You know, back in the day, like. We used to ride on our bikes all over the neighborhood. You know, I would be 12, 13 years old. I rolled through all the Bensoners in my bike. You know, I'm meeting all my friends and going anywhere I wanted to. You know, you can't really do that in Staten Island. As kids, you're still kind of structured in a way where you're kind of trapped in a certain region of Staten Island. You know, like when we were kids in Bensonhurst, we'd take our bikes and just go all over. We go to Coney Island even. You know what I'm saying? Because Bensonhurst is not that far from Coney Island. We could take our bikes to the beach in Coney Island and whatnot, or even jump on a subway and go there. You know, it was different. It was more neighborhoody. So don't get me wrong. You have everybody who moved to Staten Island and Jersey, even, don't get me started on that whole Jersey thing, because I want to get started on that too. But it doesn't have that neighborhoody feel, because it's more spread apart. It's more spread out, you know? With Jersey, you know how many times I travel out of New York and people say you have a Jersey accent? A Jersey accent?
Yeah, no, you
Luke,
don't at
that's
all.
a Brooklyn accent.
I know.
You know what it is? All Brooklyn moved to Jersey. They had kids. Their kids speak like the parents. And so they start speaking, but they're raised in Jersey, so people think that's a Jersey accent. That's a Brooklyn accent from their parents that's just passed down to the kids who now were born and raised in Jersey. There's no Jersey
funny?
Accent. Yo, you know, I'll tell you what's funnier. Now you're gonna get me started.
Here we go. Let's go,
Here's my
Paulie.
show. Remember, you've seen the movie Dumb and Dumber? There's some people, the younger people won't understand this joke. Remember, you've seen the movie Dumb and Dumber?
Of course.
The beginning of the movie, when he's hitting on the girl and he rolls down the window, Jim Carrey does, and he's talking to the girl, the Austrian girl.
Yep.
He says, what lovely accent there. Where's that from? New Jersey? And she says Austria. Yeah. The reason that was such a joke is because New Jersey had no accent. There was no Jersey accent in 1992. That's why the joke was funny. The joke wasn't funny because he misplaced the accent. She had an accent and he said the wrong accent. The joke was funny in 1992 when the movie came out because New Jersey had no accent in 1992. Now the Jersey accent is the old Brooklyn accent. Everybody's like, oh, you have a Jersey accent. Don't get me started.
Yo, bro, but Brooklyn has changed completely. I used to live
there
here.
is no Brooklyn accent. There is no Brooklyn
Here's the
culture
thing.
really anymore.
I live in Washington, D.C., but I used to live in Brooklyn. I lived in Manhattan back in 2002, 3, and 4. And even then, there were certain parts of Brooklyn, like Red Hook.
Williamsburg was already changing.
Oh, my God.
Red Hook was starting to change at that
That's
time.
why I went back.
Red Hook was a slum when
It was
I was
a
kid.
complete slum.
You know?
I went back. It's completely unrecognizable. Now, some of the places that were nice back then are still nice, like Park Slope or whatever. But Benson...
Park Slope was bad when I was a kid, too, though.
Is that
Park
right?
Slope changed over, yeah.
Okay, well, by the time I was here, it was much better. It was kind of expensive. But generally, you're right. Like, that area, that Bensonhurst area, it's like the last of the Mohicans for Italian culture.
It was the last, and there's still a couple of spots there, you know, like I still keep a place there, but all that's left, the only Italians that are really there are the old people that didn't want to move out, you know. Some of my friends are still there, but most of them have moved to Jersey and Staten Island. And I even had a couple of friends that were holding out, and even just recently, they moved to Jersey, Staten Island. I'd be like, bro, you moved? And they were like, yeah, man, I held out as much as I could, but I couldn't, you know.
Am I allowed to say that Little Italy here in Manhattan is a little overrated?
Yeah.
It's a little overrated.
It was overrated when I was a kid. I'll tell you, man, when I was a kid, by the time it was like the mid-'90s, Mulberry Street was already swallowed up by Chinatown, really. You know what I mean?
Right.
Little Italy, it still kind of is. There's only a few blocks left. But I was always so proud of Bensonhurst to be like, yo, we kept it. We kept our neighborhood, man. Yo, don't get me wrong, I could appreciate Little Italy, but I would always say, yo, we kept our neighborhood. Bensonhurst is where it's at. But I have to say, man, now, actually, there's more Italian culture in the 3 blocks of Little Italy than there is in Bensonhurst. I never thought I would. As a matter of fact, I never thought I'd say that to the point where I used to argue with my Boston friends. I have a lot of Italian friends in Boston, and they have the North End, which is, to me, the last Little Italy left in America.
I've never been there. It's legit.
The Boston Little Italy. It's not super legit, but it's like as legit as it's gonna get right now. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger. You have like little barbershops, because you know the neighborhood is not just Italian restaurants. You know, when you have an Italian area, it's cafes, it's barbershops, it's meat markets. You know, the salumeria, the pork stores. You know, where you get your cold cuts and whatnot. It has to have all that. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's not an Italian area. It's not just about pizzerias and restaurants. So the North End of Boston has all that. So to me, it's like gives me that, aside from the bakeries and the cafes. So it gives me that feel of my old neighborhood. But in like the mid-2000s, like 05, 06, I used to have a manager from there. So I used to train up there a lot and go up there a lot. And I used to argue with my Italian friends up there, like, yo, man, you don't have no Italian neighborhood over here. Bensonhurst is where it's at. We got 18th Avenue. And they'd be like, nah, Hanover Street. It's Hanover Street. And Hanover was great, but I thought 18th Avenue was where it's at. Now I'm craving Hanover Street. Now I go to Hanover Street, I'm like, all right, you guys win. Thank God you kept it preserved, you know, because 18th Avenue, you go there, and don't get me wrong, I'm not against Chinese culture, because, you know, they're great people, and they're really sweet people, and it's nice people that move in the neighborhood. But I look at my neighborhood, and I'm like, oh, man, I remember there was a cafe here. I remember this cafe here. I remember this Italian record store here, you know, the Italian movies and CDs, and it's all gone. It's all gone.
Well, you know what? Things change like this.
They do.
I got to tell you, you don't change. You stay caffeinated, my friend. Look at you.
Yes. Well, they did have this tea. So.
You are full of energy these days, huh?
Yeah. I actually just worked out on before I got here. Usually, this would have been my workout time, but I said, you know what? Let me switch it up.
I appreciate you coming in.
I got in an early.
You're looking pretty
workout.
good shape.
Yeah. We got.
I haven't seen you in a couple of years in person. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I think was I still fighting when we.
I think you were like
last chatted?
semi-fighting. I don't think you had officially retired at that point.
okay.
But you weren't like.
I wasn't like as active.
Yeah. You were on the Showtime side.
Okay.
What's your shape like these days in terms of like what you can do?
No, we're training again. You know, we're on like a.
It's a process, yeah.
Yeah, it's a process. We're on a daily grind, but it's not like we're not 100% daily grind, but we're back on a day-to-day schedule where, you know, we didn't have that for a long time, you know? So we're on a day-to-day schedule, but we're not going at 100, 150 miles an hour yet, you know? Like, we're going on a day-to-day schedule. We're going at the speed limit right now, you know?
Yeah.
And we're just kind of just getting our body back to the consistency of working and whatnot, you know?
So when you decided to retire the first time, what was it about that time in your life where you were like, okay, I think I've had enough?
The real thing that had me feeling down and out about was my body, the metabolism wasn't working for me anymore, you know? Like, I'm not a big welterweight, you know, and I was competing at welterweight, but I realized I was a lot stronger at super lightweight, you know? Like, not that I was ever a big puncher, but I remember in the clinches at super lightweight, I could shift my opponents around. They wouldn't like push me around. I could maneuver guys where I wanted to. And ultimately, because of that, I was able to keep the fight on the outside where I wanted it a lot better, you know? As I got bigger, at welterweight, I had a lot more trouble holding guys off, and even on the clinches on the inside, you know, I had to be very clever on the outside, and I was able to be clever enough to win a world title at welterweight, a major world title anyway. But it was still like a lot tougher to win those battles inside the clinches. You know, I had good success at welterweight, probably most of the time against former light welterweights like myself. You know, like Adrian Bronner was a good fight, but he's a former light welterweight. You know, but I think that was ultimately what really kind of got me burned out, you know, was trying to hold this weight because I knew I couldn't go up to light middleweight anymore. You know, the world-class boxers at light middleweight were killers, you know? And I'd be...
For folks who are listening, give an example of somebody.
Light middleweight would be Jamel Charlo, would be Jared Hurd right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, and like, I'm not that size, but my body wasn't cooperating to get to welterweight anymore. Like, I would be killing myself to make the welterweight limit, knowing what was waiting for me at light middle. You know, and I'm like, I'm not going there. There's no way I could ever compete there, you know? Not to mention getting older, so your energy level is not as high anymore. So it was like just the work of getting to welterweight, and it was like so hard. Like, I remember starting training camps and be like, the week before I leave for camp, be like, man, I do not look forward to this. Where usually when I was younger, I'd be like, man, I can't wait to start camp. I can't wait to start getting my body going.
Was it like a shitload of road work or something?
A lot of road work, because road work obviously helps your conditioning, but it also helps your weight cutting, you know? But it was just like, just the stress, man. You know, then you get your weight down and you look at the scale and you're like, man, there's still work to do. And like you're feeling like you basically, in a nutshell, I look at myself in the mirror. I'd be cut and skinny the way I would be. And at one time in my life, being this particular skinniness where I would be looking in the mirror, I would be like 145. Now, like, a few years have passed, you're just as skinny, but now the scale says 155. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, where am I going? You know what I mean? Like, now I gotta work harder to get that back down. Your body looks just the same. You're like, well, you know, when I was this skinny before, I was 10 pounds lighter. Where is it? You know? It's just, and people that, you know, are a little older, they'll understand that, who try to keep in shape at an elevated age, you know? I think, you know, when you get older, you just look at your body and make sure it looks good. You're not really looking at the scale anymore because you realize the scale is gonna not cooperate with you, but your body still looks good, you know? So that's basically where I'm at now, you know? It's like, you know, I will look better, but my body will not be as light as it used to be, you know? So I think with the fight with Artem, we're probably gonna do 155. I mean, Artem's a bum, so at the end of the day, it's not like I gotta worry about like, oh, this is a light middleweight where I gotta fight Charlo, or I have to fight Hurd, or I have to fight, you know, Julian Williams or Jaime Munguia or whatnot, where it's like, oh man, these are light middleweights that are like destroyers, you know.
Right.
Fight Artem Lobov, bro. We can fight at 100 pounds, we can fight at 200 pounds, like, he's gonna get knocked out. It's not gonna matter.
Let's get to that in just a second as we sort of work through here. Like, physically, let me ask this. How do you know you're being honest with yourself? And here's what I mean. You know this as well as I do. You see athletes at the end, they'll lie to themselves like they can get through it. And and sometimes they can't. How do you know that you still have enough to be? I know it's bare knuckle boxing, but how do you know you still have enough to be competitive? Forget Artem. I'm talking about just you.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. If I would be lying to you if I told you I could compete at the highest levels of boxing, professional boxing right now. I would be lying to you, you know? When I saw this as an opportunity, I said, you know, because I crave that spotlight. You crave the limelight, but you don't crave it where you're going to be at the mid-range anymore, you know? If you've been here and now you can't compete here, you get dropped down to here. Now, here is not as adrenaline rushing anymore for you. You know what I'm saying? And you're doing all this work to compete here when you used to compete here. So it's like harder, you know? But then all of a sudden, bare knuckle boxing gives you the opportunity to compete here while still, you know, being able to not only forget about the money. Forget about the money. The money's good. The Bay felt me and gave me a good offer to fight here. But besides that, you get to compete here. You know, where in boxing, I wouldn't get to compete here. And it's not like just my name would just bring me here. I would have to work my way up to here regardless in boxing. And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be able to work my way back up here in boxing, you know? But in BKFC or bare knuckle, because I'm such a name and they're kind of starving, it's a new promotion, starving for bigger names, I can start out here already. And honestly, no disrespect to the talent pool, but the talent pool's not on my level. You know what I'm saying? It's mostly washed up MMA fighters. You know what I'm saying? I'm not got an MMA fighter in his prime in bare knuckle boxing. You know what I'm saying? But so a washed up MMA fighter is not gonna have anything from me. No matter what anybody thinks about if I'm washed up or not washed up, regardless of whether I'm washed up or not, these are not prime MMA fighters. So, but not that I would have a problem with a prime MMA fighter in bare knuckle boxing anyway. But that's basically the way I looked at it. It was like, you know what? It's giving me the whole upside of a big promotion. Like as soon as I signed up, you know, I was getting calls from everyone. You know, right away. All the media
I had you on my other show.
Outlets were calling me right away, and obviously I knew that was doing the job for Dave. That's why Dave did it. You know, because they wanted the crossover media to where to cover the sport that wasn't covering it before. You know, right away, networks like ESPN and things like that were right away giving me calls. You know what I'm saying? And it was all because I had signed up. So I get why Dave had brought me on, you know? But from the other side, it also gave me that same kind of rush, that same kind of feel, that same kind of excitement. You know, like, it's one thing to do it. Sometimes, we're all narcissists as fighters. We are, you know? As soon as, you may get excited, and it may, but some days you're like, I don't want to go work out right now. But man, as soon as you start getting these calls, and you're like, yo, you know what? Everybody's looking forward to this, man. Like, I'm going to go out there and get in shape. You know what? Everybody's excited about this. It's getting me excited about it, you know? And right away, that passion kind of comes back, you know?
All right, so
you may lie to yourself to a degree.
Yeah.
But I know which direction to hold it in now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to lie to myself.
This is a more calculated.
Yes, this is exactly. Calculated is the right word, because I had to lie to myself at the end of my boxing career. You know, I really did. But this is more calculated. I looked at the talent pool. I look at the money. I look at, there's a different way of fighting. You're not going to fight exactly the same way. There's certain risks to certain upside, certain downside. And I feel like I calculated it right, you know?
All right.
And honestly, I mean, I didn't think there was any interest in the Artem Lobov fight, at least not for me at first, you know. But once it started getting mentioned,
bro,
I used to sweep it aside. Like, all right, this guy's a bum. Like, what am I gonna do with it? Then all of a sudden, like, I would see like my social media and everything is pumping up with it. I'm like,
did I not tell you? We talked about this before.
Know?
Did I not tell you he's a fan favorite? Did I not tell you that?
Yeah. But I don't think it's all just he's a fan favorite. I mean, he is, I guess. But it's more like I'm also like, because I have like this weird like relationship with the MMA crowd, you know? Like, it's become like this weird sensation.
Jose, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned this. So do you remember? You may not remember this, but I do. Mm-hmm. Do you remember being in Washington D.C.? I interviewed you. Of
course. I was with for the John McCain thing.
Okay, so I want you to do me. I'll send you this. I have your number. I'll forward it to you. I interviewed you for MMA Fighting at the time. You should read the comments. The MMA fans are like, Paulie Malignaggi is so smart. Wow, what a great guy.
Yeah.
We love him. It was only when you started beefing with Conor that everything turned.
It was like Conor was this good guy when he's a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I started beefing with Conor, he's a piece of shit. I didn't start beefing with Conor just for the sake of beefing with Conor. You know what I'm saying? Like, and all of a sudden it turned on me. But like, honestly, even before that, I could already tell you, because I had already been through ups and downs in my career, I could already tell you, fans in general are fickle. You know what I'm saying? So you're not going to rely on the love of fans to help keep you going. The love of fans, the passion of fans keeps your passion growing, because we're narcissists. We love that adulation. We love that fanfare. We love that. But really, I know it's not genuine. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you it was not genuine, even if I would have seen all the positive comments back then. Even back then, that was a couple of years ago, so I was already old enough to understand none of this is genuine. In my 20s, I'll be like, oh, these people love me. But by the time I got to my 30s, I know none of it is genuine. So it doesn't really matter if it comes my way positively or if it comes my way negatively. I take it all with a grain of salt because I know how fickle the fans can be. You know what I'm saying? I know how fickle the adulation and the crowds can be. It's the way it is. Matter of fact, you ever seen the movie Gladiator?
Of course.
With Russell Crowe. Everybody's seen it. There was a point where the Joaquin Phoenix's sister, she's trying to, talk with her brother, trying to stay on her brother's good side, and she's talking about, and he's mad that the crowd is Russell Crowe. She says, "The mob is fickle, brother. Tomorrow, like they'll be against them today." And that was right around the time I was turning pro, and I was already starting to understand that at the end of my amateur career. So I just imagine by the time I went through my pro career, how much I understand this now. That line in that movie, it's so deep because the mob is fickle. The crowd, the passion of the crowd towards you will always be fickle.
Let me ask you
Today
this,
they'll love you, tomorrow they'll hate you, and they'll love you again the next day. You shouldn't ever take it that seriously.
How much do you like the fact that your name is so attached to Conor at this point?
I'll be honest with you. I thought at first it was annoying. At first I was like, what drove me to even do this? Like, that was so stupid. Like, I was retired. I was
to go spar and all that stuff?
Yeah, I was happy. Like, it wasn't really a big deal to me. It's still not a big deal. Like, that 12 rounds that he makes like it was like this intense fight, like we were fighting, that is one of the dullest 12-round sparring sessions I ever had. You know what I'm saying? The reason it was intense is because there was a lot of shit talking, and it was like, he had invited people, so I could tell like there was like an aura about the sparring where like, whoa, this is kind of weird, But like, I have had much more violent sparring sessions with much better fighters where I have been in shape and they've been in shape. Like, sparring sessions where you could charge at the door of Gleason's gym in those gym war days. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was, this one paled in comparison. The only reason it started getting an elevated feel was because you got there and like, all right, he had invited certain people. Dana White was there, one of the Fertittas was there. And then he was a lot of shit talking, so I got into the shit talking and went back and forth. But as far as the quality of the sparring, it wasn't that quality. It wasn't that intense. The fact that Conor felt it was that intense showed me what a pussy he was anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because if that was intense for you, bro, you hadn't even scraped the tip of the iceberg compared to what real intensity is in a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't lay on the ground in the guard for 5 minutes in a boxing match. You get your ass whooped if you're tired, and that's it. You're gonna get your ass whooped. And if you're gonna quit, you can't figure out a way to say, let me throw myself in here and let him choke me out so I can quit, and nobody will know I quit. You don't have that option. You have to sit on your stool. You have to tell the ref no mas, and you're gonna get criticized for it. And MMA, let me throw myself in here. Okay, choke me. All right, you know what? I couldn't do anything. He choked me out. You know what I'm saying? So you can kind of disguise it, Yeah. So the fact that, he even thought there was that intensity, for me was like, this guy's an ultra pussy. Like, this was not, it was all an illusion, really. You know what I'm saying? But in my career now, okay, but that was the thing. It was all annoying at first, It was only until recently now that I'm getting this offer to fight in BKFC and the whole Conor and Artem thing, and it's gonna get me paid. It's gonna be paid money that I probably didn't think I was going to get anymore, which is why I retired, too. One of the reasons I retired was, you know what, it's not going to tickle my fancy financially either. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a certain amount of money I have to make to a minimum gain in order for me to go through a training camp, get in shape, go through all the hassle of making weight and doing all that. Like, it has to be worthwhile even financially. And I kind of knew in boxing, my worth, my value had diminished to where I wasn't going to be able to get those kind of number figures anymore that would at least be intense enough for me to interest me, And BKFC came and the numbers started going up to the point where I was like, listen, I gave Dave a minimum. I was like, you know what, I won't fight for this amount of money, unless I get this amount of money. And if you don't give it to me, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't expect to get that in boxing anymore either, but I don't have to fight. Nobody's putting a gun to me to fight. I'm not broke, so I don't have to go and fight. But if you give me this amount of money, you're gonna get me to think about it, because it is a certain amount of money, And Dave started matching those numbers. So once we started matching those numbers, we started talking and going into more conversations and going in depth. We had to surpass that first. But once we did, we started coming closer to the agreement, and then we did. So then I realized, you know what, my name being attached to Conor's ended up working out for me. Like, I'm getting paid off this stupid beef. Like, I'm probably gonna end up making stupid money for beating the shit out of a punching bag. Like, Lobov for me is a punching bag with feet, bro. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Jason Knight, who might actually beat him or might cut him. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen because I don't want to talk about this fight with him fighting Jason. I don't know who Jason Knight is, but I know he was signed to the UFC. So if you were signed to the UFC, you have to have some kind of skill, right?
He's more of a grappler than a striker, but he's good enough to
get.
But
Lobov, if I close my eyes and I throw this bottle Like, it might hit him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might hit him if he's standing anywhere near me. You know what I mean? Like, he's that bad defensively. It's not like he hasn't.
Can I have that?
Go ahead.
We're gonna put it on the set.
Yeah. So, you know, like, so it's not like, you know, he's foul-proof where he's like Pernell Whitaker. Like, he can get hit and get cut, and the fight's off, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't have a schedule to where I'm playing with. Like,
So if it's not Artem, who is it?
The fight has to be in the summer, or the fight doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What I'm saying is, you guys, everybody's making like this guy's gonna get through April 6th. Let him get through April 6th before we start intensifying the promotion. You know
Have you seen him fight?
Knight?
No.
Lobov?
Lobov.
I've seen him, yeah.
And?
Horrible. Absolutely horrible. He's got heart, and he seems to have a decent chin.
He's got a big punch.
I mean, for barehanded, everybody's got a big punch. Conor McGregor was a big puncher in MMA, but it's about accuracy when you have no gloves on or small gloves on. It's not even about punching power anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, McGregor's punching power, when we got to boxing, you saw it yourself. I mean, I saw it myself in the gym. Regardless of what anybody wants to say about that video, he didn't drop me. He didn't even hurt me. He didn't get my attention. It's decent pop, but, you know, you saw it in the fight. Have you ever seen Mayweather walk anybody down so carefree in his life?
No.
In all the years Mayweather's been fighting, so carefree, so smiling, so just nonchalant. Okay, so where was the power? Because Mayweather wouldn't walk Golovkin down like that, I promise you. He wouldn't walk Canelo down like that, I promise you. So where was the power? So the power in MMA doesn't translate the same way because it's more on accuracy, and Conor's karate gives him that accuracy than anything else. And so that's but in boxing, where we're only dealing with punches, his accuracy is diminished. And when he does land, we're also more used to getting hit than he. So with Lobov, his accuracy, how accurate is he going to be with a real boxer? I'm going to be accurate as shit. I'm going to use him like a dartboard. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to use his face like a dartboard. If I don't, it's not about winning and losing here because it's not even a question that I'm going to win the fight. It's about how bad I can hurt this guy. For me, if I don't hurt him to a degree that there's something permanent there, like it's not a win for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not looking to permanent, like he's got to get hurt. He's got to get wind up in the hospital. Like something's got to happen to him. Like because if I don't do that to him, then for me it's not a win. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, because of course I'm gonna beat this guy. He's a punching bag with feet.
Okay, but hold on. It's one thing if you guys were to spar with boxing. I'm just playing devil's advocate. It's one thing if you guys are sparring with boxing, but both of you are in new territory here, where the rules are not merely the rules, but the rules are a little bit different. It's just your hands, a little bit of tape. We've seen people cross over into other sports and take each other one.
How different is it? What's gonna be the difference for me? What's the difference for me? You see my style. What's the difference for me?
Well, first of all, the rounds are shorter. Here's the thing. It's not about your style. It's about, I've seen MMA fighters.
I don't turtle up. I've never been a turtle up kind of guy. So
you're a come forward guy.
No, I'm not even a come forward guy, but I'm a guy who makes you miss.
Yes.
I don't catch a lot of shots on the glove. You actually miss with me.
Heavy good footwork, heavy on the motion. What I'm saying is, MMA fighters sometimes they just bite down the mouthpiece and they go, and all they need to do is strafe a little bit, and they cause problems.
Yeah.
They're not better boxers, but they don't need to be.
Your timing can throw me off a little bit, sure, but I'm telling you, you're gonna get walked into some shit. I'm telling you right now. He's gonna get walked into some shit, and it's gonna be fast, and it's gonna be sharp, and it's going to be a situation where I'm not throwing haymakers, so I'm following up. Because a haymaker, if you lay the haymaker, you can't even follow up. You have to get back on your balance and throw again. I'm gonna land hard, I'm gonna land often, and I'm gonna be balanced enough to continuously land on you because I don't have to regain my balance when I throw a punch. I can literally pummel the shit out of you. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm gonna do to this guy. I'm going to beat the living shit out of him. That's what's gonna happen when we do get in there. But right now, let him focus on his fight because I don't want to jinx anything because I don't want to disrespect even his opponent for this week.
By the way, very quickly, there's this workout tomorrow. Where's the workout?
I believe it's at Mendez. I mean, he's doing the workout. I'm not doing the workout. I'm just showing up for some kind of media stuff.
Yeah, but your name is on the list, though.
Yeah. They want me to do something.
So he's working out, but you're just going to do media tomorrow?
I think they want me to just speak to the media and whatnot, and they haven't really gone into detail or depth, nobody told me about any workout over there. No.
What is Showtime saying about all this?
Showtime's fine with it. I was fighting at the end of my career. I mean, I started working with Showtime in 2012. I was actually still a world champion in boxing. So, they signed me already as an active fighter. So this isn't anything new. The majority of the years I've been with Showtime, I was actually fighting, So, I've taken off the last 2 years from fighting. But it's not like it's new to them where they've kind of got to balance it out. As a matter of fact, this actually works out even easier. It couldn't have worked out better because Showtime has a bit less dates this year because of Fox picking up a lot of the PBC fights. So we actually are not working as often as we maybe did last year, So it actually has left me decently bigger gaps to start, be able to focus more on my training. I still get other gigs, like I still have, Ultimate Boxer in England, and I may do Conor versus Crawford with BBC Radio in England.
Okay.
And there's little gigs. I may do Joshua with Sky Sports, but that's in New York, so it's Conor Crawford. So I still always pick up little gigs, but they're still to my schedule. I'll still be able to work them in because it's not like it's a 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? These kind of commentating gigs, you have a couple meetings in a day, and then you'll go back to your schedule, or you'll commentate on fight day, and then you go back to your schedule. So it's not that difficult to balance out.
These allegations about Conor. Well, you saw what happened in Miami, and I'm sure you saw the New York
Yeah,
Times
I mean,
report.
the Miami.
Here's the thing. The thing that got reported in the New York Times, like Conor, don't like her. Like him, I don't know what to say about it. He hasn't been charged with anything.
Yeah, I heard about that in December, actually.
The phone thing is...
I have some friends. The phone thing was blown out of proportion. That's the media jumping the gun. But that's also the bus thing. I mean, the bus thing, I could have told you he wasn't going to go to jail for. You know what I'm saying? I had a road rage incident that was similar to that years ago.
Did you really?
Yeah, same thing. You just pay a fine and you're done. Like, I knew that was blown out of proportion. But, of course, it hyped up the Khabib fight well. But I'll tell you this. The phone thing, too, was a bit blown out of proportion. It really didn't show that he's a criminal, because, that's not really a criminal thing. But it showed he's a douchebag, it shows he's a jerk-off, like, that could have been any fan. Like, if you're a Conor McGregor fan, that could have been any of you that went up to him looking for a selfie.
You never wanted to throttle a fan before?
No, not in that situation, no.
Really?
No, like, I've had guys come up to me and don't get me wrong, I've wanted to throttle a fan, but they're not close to me where they're taking pictures like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll keep their distance, or they'll, like, nobody's coming up. I guarantee you that guy didn't come up. If that guy wanted a selfie, I guarantee you he didn't come up and say, you're a jerk, let me take a selfie. I assure you, it doesn't happen that way. The dynamic doesn't happen that way, you know what I'm saying? So, I've had situations, but they're always from a distance, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's trying to get near me, because, even the fans understand if I get near this guy, he might beat the shit out of me, you know what I'm saying? So nobody's gonna go near Conor and look to take a picture with him and insult him. I guarantee that wasn't an insult. But I tell you, I've been part of several different situations where guys, as I'm leaving the arena or I'm leaving hey, Paul, take a picture, quick selfie, like, and it's like, sometimes you walk and you're like, oh, hey, all right, and he kind of goes, Yeah. But, Conor wanted to be the cool guy, and he wanted to be the guy who didn't want to be in the selfie at 4 in the morning. I don't know, and he wanted to do that. But to me, that doesn't make him a criminal. To me, that makes him more of a douchebag, because, like I said, that could be any fan. That could be any Conor McGregor fan that likes Conor McGregor, and there are a lot of them. It could have been any of you at home that went up to him for that selfie and that happened, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like it made him a criminal, but it just makes him a jerk off, which I kind of already knew.
All right, so everyone keeps asking me this, so I'm going to ask you this. How much of this with Lobov is really just to get a fight with Conor?
I don't know what it would be to get a fight with Conor. I don't expect Conor to fight me, because I've kind of gone into this explanation before. The Mayweather fight was always forgivable for Conor. He's the best fighter ever in boxing, even though he wasn't at the time they fought. I mean, he was retired for 2 years and he barely trained. But, you have that whole geese of it, Then the Khabib fight, it's the best fighter in MMA. He can be forgiven for losing to that, even though, if you really can see through Conor, he picks his spots. He saw the way Khabib looked against Yaquinta and said, you know what, this guy's slipping. He's struggling at weight. I'm going to get him. Instead of giving Yaquinta credit, he took it like Khabib was slipping, And so he jumped on you. I assure you, if Khabib would have blown Yaquinta out of the octagon in April of last year, Conor would have went nowhere near Khabib, okay? He saw him go 5 rounds, had to work for it, and said, you know what, this guy's there for the taking. He's struggling at the weight. I'm going to get him. Wrong choice. But Conor was still trying to pick his spots. So again, he's not looking to fight the best. He's looking to pick his spots. But when Mayweather and Khabib, he gets wrong. The reason he can't do it with me, because my fight will pay him more than any other fight he can get, aside from the Mayweather fight. Because he's not going to get a Canelo fight. He's like, people, don't give me the whole, he did Pacquiao, Canelo. He's not going to get those fights. So I'm talking about realistically any fight he can get. Aside from Mayweather, he cannot get more money fighting anybody else, including Khabib rematch, than fighting me. He cannot get that kind of money. I know the kind of money that's being thrown at him. He cannot get that kind of money. But the reason he will not fight me is because you can be forgiven for losing to Mayweather because of the whole geese of the TB. You can be forgiven for losing to Khabib because no matter what the reason you actually fought him for, people will believe you actually wanted to fight him because he's the best, no matter what the real reason is.
Also, he is extremely good.
He is. Khabib is extremely good. He's the best, actually. Yeah. But that's not why Conor fought him. Conor fought him because he thought he was slipping, and he could have got him. Because Conor felt he was still the best when they fought. Conor wouldn't have went anywhere near him. Okay, if Conor saw the Yaquinta performance and said, I can get this guy. He's slipping. If Conor felt he was the best the time they fought, he wouldn't have fought him. But he knows the image, the perception is that he's the best. Let me get him. he was wrong because it's not just the perception, it's the reality. Khabib is the best fighter in MMA right now. But with Paulie Malignaggi, the perception is you knocked him down. The perception is you beat him up. The perception is now you're going to wind up in a fight with him, and he's going to beat the fuck out of you all over the place. And he's going to make you look stupid doing it. I'm not just, Conor knows, Conor sparred me. You know, I don't just beat the shit out of you. Now I'm going to talk shit. I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to emasculate you while I'm doing it. And you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. It's not just going to be a loss. It's going to be an embarrassment. So you, and people will not forgive you for the loss, not just because of the embarrassment of it, but because you lied to them. Your fans will forgive you if they're true fans for losing. They will not forgive you for lying to them. And because of the lie, they would never forgive him. So no matter for all the money in the world, Conor can't fight me. So the Lobov fight is not really to get McGregor. Like I said, it's for all the reasons we talked about before. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It's BKFC's giving me an opportunity to be here. They're giving me more money than I thought I could get. It's all this. I've already discussed why I'm doing this. If the McGregor fight would present itself, sure, it would be nice. The entire promotion wants to get the McGregor fight. Dave Feldman would love to get the McGregor fight for me. You know what I'm saying? Because it would mean mega money and mega promotion even for BKFC. Yep. I think anybody involved will want to make Malignaggi and McGregor. The only guy that doesn't want to make Malignaggi and McGregor is McGregor and everybody directly involved with him because they understand the game is over once that fight happens. The show, the game, the flaunt thing, everything's over. Because once I beat the shit out of you after all the past we've had and all the lies you've told, you're done. You're history. Nobody will ever want to remember you again. So he can't have that. Not even his proper whiskey would sell anymore.
All right. Well, look. I could have had you for a full hour.
Sure.
We got to keep it rolling. You have an invite to the studio anytime you want. Let's get you on again either right before or after your fight. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I'll have my people call your people. How about that?
All right. We'll do lunch.
Thank you so much, Paulie Malignaggi. My guy Joe will take care of you
All
here.
right. Watch that bottle. Don't hit Artem with it.
I appreciate you coming in, Paulie. Thank you so much.
All right.
There he goes. True gem. Showtime boxing analyst, bare knuckle fighter, the whole bit. Paulie Malignaggi. Really appreciate his time.